Hello guys, my name is Mateusz Mazurczak and I'm the chief programmer of AirOS team. Today I want to show you our UI and how it's meant to be used. For this I've prepared for you the script. It generates random realistic outputs from the POCU. However, it doesn't actually get connected to the POCU because we can't really simulate a mission without having the CANSAT drop, right? This is just a script that will generate these messages for us, and our UI can present these pieces of information, because otherwise we would need to either perform a mission, and I would actually need to have the CANSAT here and the antenna and the ground station, which I don't have right now because it is at a friend's house. So I will be showing you a demo version, but this also applies to the real mission. It's just that this is simulated, right? So let's run the simulation. And now you can see this is how the UI looks. There's a launch button, quite obvious, and this will turn on our software. When this happens, you can see the environment you are greeted with, and there's an error ongoing. You can hear an alert play on loop. So let's walk you through first what these things are. This is the flight software, obviously. You've got the home screen, you've got the data view screen, you've got the location display, and then you've got the status. Now, this screen shows you the altitude. It also shows you the fall speed, the RSSI, the experiment time, that is, your secondary experiment time, the current velocity relative to the surface of the Earth, that's just from the GPS, the vehicle health, and then also the heading. As you can see, these values aren't necessarily super realistic, but that's because, again, the script is just generating them right now for us. This isn't a realistic mission, obviously, but it's somewhat realistic. Here is the data view screen. This shows you a timeline of altitude readings, and it scales itself automatically. You can see we're going on a gradient. That's because of the way this is programmed. But you know, in a normal mission, to also get this kind of effect, rather. We've also got the location screen, and this shows you where the CANSAT is currently located from GPS information. However, of course, in this case, the CANSAT is not located anywhere. It's just that the simulation is positioning it in a random place, and we've got some drift set. So mostly the CANSAT will be moving in the same position, but it will be slightly drifting in a certain direction, I think, around here. Now the status screen shows you the current data string. Obviously this would normally update, but in this case it doesn't because there's nothing connected to it. You've also got the computed vehicle status you can look at immediately to know what's going on. The mode we're in, and the sanity check to see if all parameters are nominal or if they're off scale. There's also a distance downrange feature, which is not available currently because there is no mission going, but this will show you the distance from the ground station to your CANSAT, right? And also the master warning, which presents you currently what error is ongoing. So when an error is created by our script, which happens randomly, and it's basically just machine random, it will occur. As you can see now, SD card error has happened. And so that's how it is. When you get an error, it will describe to you what type of error is ongoing. Of course, I have to wait for it to occur. Now let's see, maybe the computer is gonna be merciful and it will occur. You can see experiencing SD card error, that occurs, right? You are notified when the error occurs by this ongoing loop. You can hear it loops seamlessly, and you can hear it no matter where you are, even if you're not looking at any kind of information screen. Maybe you're at the data view inspecting it, or on the location. Oh, we're gonna land in the Vistula River. That's not good. Obviously, that's not the real CANSAT, but still. So this is how it works, right? And even now you can detect the error because you can just, it's audible even if you're away from your desktop. So if you're the mission assistant, you can check what's going on immediately. Now our mission is ongoing for some time. You can see we've descended, and I'm gonna try to show you what happens when you descend below a certain altitude. Obviously the parameters of the CANSAT are gonna change, but I want to review one more thing, is how to prepare for you this environment when you want to be using our UI. Well, for this, let's open the file that actually is really used for this. There's a sim file which you can run, and this will simulate this software for you, but receive is the real one. And obviously it won't work currently. So let's open the one to show you how you have to configure it. So all you have to do is you have to first get these dependencies, which you can do just from your command prompt. you're gonna do pip and then you're gonna install the correct stuff. So in this case, that's Flask, and then maybe Serial, depending on what you're doing it in. If you're doing it on idle, it will not be a problem for you. On Windows, if you're doing it on a Mac, on Sony, it will not be a problem. And for sure, it works on Linux anyway, because Linux is quite cool, right? So port you set to the COM port. You can determine this using Arduino, or if you know the port names of your device, you can look this up. On Windows, it will be COM something, and on Macs, it's going to be dev/cu and then dot some other stuff. And then on Linux, it's going to be /dev/something, I think, but I'm not sure either. But you know, Linux and Mac are similar, so it will be in some way similar because they're built on top of each other, right? And here you will see how it connects, and it will send you this information to parse it correctly and display it to you. If you want, you can alter this to your mission and maybe set a different port. This just spells out auto using lead. But anyway, so you can set anything. And then you can see you've descended below a certain altitude. And now mode should have changed to standby. No, we're now in active mode. We're not sampling anymore, as you can see. The vehicle is now in flight and no longer sampling. However, this value is no longer increasing also, so realistically, right? And this is what you'd see in a normal CANSAT, right? This is what will happen. We're still getting errors, but again, they're simulated. And eventually the vehicle will touch down on the ground and you're going to see, well, it's probably going to negative values because I'm lazy, but you know what I mean. This is how to use the UI, and the UI will work on anything if you've got a modern browser. So on Chrome, you just open it, literally just open it. It will work on Chromium for sure. It will work on Safari WebKit as well, and it will also probably work on Microsoft Edge, right, on Windows if you're using that. And on Linux, I don't know if Mozilla also will open it and it will work correctly. So really any OS is supported, just as a CANSAT simulated one is touching down. And yes, this is the software. Boom, we've gone into the negative values. Okay, I did not expect that. Anyway, so that's how it works while we're descending below the surface of the Earth, but we're still somewhere here. Amazing that the GPS is working when we're in the ground. Okay, anyway, when you want to run this stuff, remember to open the location it's located in, run it simply, it's gonna connect automatically, and then you have to go full screen. Now, if your resolution is different than 1920 by 1080, you have to probably scale it down or up. Unfortunately, we don't really support any other screens because it's not responsive, because we didn't have enough time to code it responsibly, but this may change in the future, so you have to check currently. It might even work better for you. Yeah, that is it. I hope that wasn't too boring, and I didn't expect it to go underneath the surface of the Earth, but it was still very interesting. So this is the journey to the center of the universe with the CANSAT. I'm sure they could send something like that down a deep hole in the future. Maybe you'd send CANSATs into a cave system or something to inspect it. I don't know. Maybe that's a good idea for a competition. Anyhow, yes, bye bye and happy coding, guys.